Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you already subscribed to us, a massive thank you very much. And if you're bumping into this video for the first time or coming across my channel for the first time, my name is Terence Nchini, a very humble boy from the roots. Please welcome to our YouTube family. If you've not already share, subscribe, please do so, and also press the notification button so you can get notified on any future video that we upload. Guys, I shared a very passionate story about my shipping experience. But what I want to say now is why I failed. Why I failed in this business. I think it's very important for every individual to always assess their experience and see if they were in a good position to find themselves in that position in the first place. I must say to you, I had to look back just to see where I started, where did it go wrong, how did the process finally ended. What I can say for sure was that before I jumped into a shipping business and one not a few, it's just because of I heard friends saying, there's a lot of money in shipping, and one not a few is a shipping site there. People do shipping to different countries, and I went straight into it. I had zero experience, no experience whatsoever, ever. So that's my first failure. So that's my number one failure, was the fact that I had no experience in shipping whatsoever, and I just went straight into it. At the time, I would have even looked at, what's this shipping all about, and do some bit of research on it. But that was my number two failure. I did not do any research on what the shipping business was all about. I should have at least asked some questions, get in contact with people who were doing shipping at that time, know how much these things were being bought, how much was the shipment, how much it be cleared home, and there's some connections on how these things can be cleared for you. And what I would have done some background work just to understand this business a bit more before going straight into it, but I didn't do any research whatsoever, and I just started the business, and I went straight into the whole thing before I realized I found myself in a very, very dead end, I must say. The third thing that really was a strain, put a lot of constraint on me, was the fact that I had to borrow money at a very high interest rate. Why still trying to buy these things, trying to ship, and trying to then borrow more money home to take them out together? Everyone who borrowed me money was already behind me. The pressure to pay back was huge. The stress was massive. So you end up finding yourself in a position where you have to auction some of the things that you even bought, even the same price or less the price, just to pay back some of these loans. So what I'm trying to advise on this particular point is having your own capital to do a business actually gives you a bit of peace of mind. I know that you can't raise the whole world capital to do your own business, but it's always good to start small. It is of no use for you to borrow a massive amount of money and put it on a business that you have no experience and you've done no research on. Like me, that's how I failed. And it was a very big failure to me, and a lesson that I'm learning and sharing with everyone here. The fourth thing that contributed to my failure as well was the fact that I also had no connection. I had zero connection. The connections that I'm talking about here is not just the fact that you need a godmother or a godfather in Africa to clear things from the customs and whatnot. If you know connections, the major connections that you actually need in any business is who is it that are your partners, who are you trading with, who are your contacts. When you arrive with your container, that's one thing I learned when I got to the Brokang, where they were removing things from when they were offloading the containers. I realized that there were a lot of guys who came from America. They made their money because they had connection. Once they opened their container, I actually realized that there were people who they were already standing outside waiting to buy their goods. They've already made their contacts, they pressed their buttons, and people were waiting there for them. As soon as everything came out of that container, they put it straight in their storage just to make sure that no one is, pickpocketing their things. But the next morning, trucks will just arrive and buy everything. I tried to ask questions, how come, you sold quick and whatnot if used? But the guys will say to me, it's about connection. They had contact, they've already had people who requested for all these things before they put them in the container. Unlike me, I just bought them blindly, put them in the container. I didn't even know do any research to know exactly what's in the market or what the market really needs, which is why I ended up with a lot of things that I didn't sell. The fifth and the last thing that I will talk about is family pressure. Family pressure. Family pressure, I'll tell you. And I'll tell you this with passion. It's good. It's a very good thing to have a family next to you, support you in business, and one not refuse. But sometimes just having too many hands can actually spoil the whole show. You end up realizing that people are bringing their own suggestions. This one is bringing his own suggestion. Everyone thinks that all these things that you brought home, they belong to the family. They believe that if they pick up anything, they don't need to pay for it because, it belongs to their brother. But they're not realizing that that's the capital. Before you know, all the things will be picked up, left, right. This one will pick this one and say, oh yeah, this can fit my son. The bicycle is good for my son. This one also say, oh yeah, I also want the bicycle for my son. Oh, I need a fridge. This one says, I need a cooker. Before you know, they'll share all the things that you've bought to sell among themselves. And that's your capital gone. That's your capital gone. If it's not the capital, any little gain you were supposed to make and pay back all those loans, it's completely vanished. Yeah, vanished. Just an extra point that I'm going to add among my top 5 lists of why I failed was the fact that I didn't even have a place in the city to stay. So I have to rent. So I was renting hotels, sleeping in hotels, paying for the storage, transporting myself back and forward from this storage every day back into the hotel. The cost of living in Douala or the economic capital where I was at that time, it was really high. So just my daily expenses outweighs everything that I was going to benefit from this shipping business. So it's very important to recap that you have the necessary experience, do your research, try to raise your own capital, don't get yourself drawn into a lot of loans, try to create some contacts on people who can buy you things if you arrive with them, and reduce how many families around you when you're trying to do the business. Trust me, I'm talking from my own personal experience. Reduce the number of family around you to do from my own personal experience. But it doesn't mean that you should also just trust anyone. You have to look for partners. That's why you need connection, to make sure that when you come in, the things are for people, they buy them, you go back, buy, you come back. Not for you to come and start negotiating who wants this, who doesn't want this. You will end up sharing them. And then they would make it look as if those things don't have any value, and then that's it. Thanks again, guys. When I talk about my failure on the shipping experience, it comes straight from my heart. I really feel it right down in the bone and the marrow, because it was a massive failure to me. But what I want to say is that, I actually done this reflection, and I realized that it's actually pushed me forward to be what I am today, to make me a better person. And why not refuse? I had to return back to the UK, and with absolutely nothing. I had nothing in my hands when I returned to the UK, and still owing loans. So my return to the UK, what I started doing in the UK, and where I am up to date, I'm going to say so in another video. Thank you again very much for clicking in, and like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.